Hello, Aries. Take a deep breath. Because what I'm about to tell you isn't just a story, it's an energetic signal happening very close to you. Lately, you may have felt something strange. The air in your home feels different. Your sleep feels heavier. And maybe, just maybe, it feels like someone's eyes are still watching you from afar. Don't be afraid. The universe is simply trying to call your name, softly, but clear enough for your heart to hear it. Because when the energy around you begins to move, it means your soul is about to awaken. And everything begins with a sacred whisper. When night falls and the world seems to stop breathing in silence, that's when the unseen begins to speak. Not with words, but through the smallest movements, a faint sound outside your window, a soft breeze touching the curtain, a glimmer of light in the corner that you're not sure is real, or just a reflection of your inner world. It's the moment the universe gently knocks on your soul, whispering, "Listen, something is drawing near." You're not alone in that feeling. Sometimes the physical world around us is just a thin veil. Behind it, everything keeps moving quietly, slowly, like an underground river carrying the message of destiny. Maybe it's someone's energy reaching out to you, or maybe it's you who has finally grown quiet enough to feel the most delicate frequencies of life. People often fear what they can't see, but wise souls know fear itself can be a guide. It makes us pause, pay attention, and turn inward to the sacred voice that's been waiting all along. The universe doesn't use noise to wake you up. It only needs a breath, a small vibration in your heart, a still moment, enough for you to realize that everything around you is whispering. Maybe you felt it in an ordinary afternoon, looking through your window, sensing that the light outside looks different, as if someone were standing in that space, quietly watching you. Or in the middle of the night, when the wind touches the door frame and you hear a heartbeat that isn't quite your own. Don't push that feeling away. It's not imagination, it's a message from the world of energy, a world that's always walked beside you, though you've rarely been still enough to hear it. When the first tarot card turns, I see an image, a thin line of light running across the rooftops at night. It isn't frightening. It feels like a silver thread connecting your heart to something moving very close, close enough that you might be breathing on the same wavelength without even knowing it. The universe is quietly tuning the sound of your life, helping you hear what's been hidden beneath the noise of fear and routine. Close your eyes for a moment. Let your shoulders drop. Let your heart soften. Let the air around you become the storyteller. You'll start to realize there's another language being spoken, the language of emotion, of intuition, of the subtle movements that the eyes can't see. And if you allow it, it will take you deeper to the place where your energy meets what's happening nearby, in a house, in a soul, in a memory that's never fully gone to sleep. You might still think it's all coincidence, but the universe doesn't work that way, Aries. It uses the smallest signs to help you see something greater, that you are entering a moment of awakening, where every vibration around you has meaning, where nothing is random, and where everything close to you is teaching you about yourself. If right now your heart beats a little faster, or a cool breeze brushes past your wrist, know that you are being heard. What you're feeling isn't fear, it's your soul being called by name, because sometimes what we call fear is really the universe's invitation, an invitation to step deeper into awareness, to understand that it's not the world moving toward you, but you expanding to touch the world. And in that fragile light, where all boundaries begin to fade, another mirror appears. There, you'll see that what's happening so close to you is only the perfect reflection of what's moving inside your own heart. Beyond the window, the afternoon light falls across the rooftops like a thin veil, touching each brick, each tree branch, each faded wall with a quiet tenderness. Everything seems still, yet if you look closely, you'll see it's breathing in rhythm with you. There's an invisible thread that connects the human heart to the world around it, so delicate that only in true stillness can you feel it. That house near you, the one with the soft light spilling through the thin curtain, the one where you sometimes hear footsteps echoing faintly in the night, it isn't just someone else's space. It's a mirror, reflecting your soul in another form. The tarot says the vibrations, emotions, even the secrets hidden there are resonating with the movements of your own spirit. When you're joyful, everything seems brighter. When you're anxious, even the wind outside feels thick and hard to breathe. When you're angry, the dog barking in the alley sounds sharper, more urgent. The world outside isn't separate from you. It is you speaking to yourself through signs you often overlook. For so long, we've been taught that we are isolated beings, separate from the earth, the water, the wind, and the light. But that's just an illusion. In truth, you are being nourished and reflected in every grain of dust, every laugh, every breath of life. When your mind is tangled, the room feels heavy. When your heart softens, even the trees outside seem to grow taller. You may not notice it, but the universe is always answering you through the language of your surroundings. When you're afraid, it sends you signals that make you pause. When you open your heart, it sends you people and moments that help you heal. The quiet neighbor, the late-night light, the subtle sounds from the next house, they're all extensions of the story your soul is telling. Imagine a vast mirror wrapped around your life, reflecting every emotion, every choice, every subtle vibration. When you love, the world blooms. When you close yourself off, the sky seems dimmer. When you forgive, the air becomes lighter. The universe doesn't speak in words, it simply mirrors back whatever you send out. And then it returns it to you, through a person, a place, or an event so near that you'd swear it was coincidence. If today your room feels small or heavy, try clearing a drawer inside your mind. If someone nearby makes you uneasy, ask your heart what within you is calling for help. When you shift your inner frequency, the outer world transforms like magic. But it isn't magic. It's the science of the soul, the law of resonance. Everything you see borrows physical form to tell a spiritual story. That story is yours, written in light, in sound, and sometimes in silence. You don't need to understand it all. Just know that every single thing unfolding, no matter how small, is a sign that the universe is gently guiding you back home to yourself. So pay attention to the houses around you. Perhaps an open window, a song drifting from afar, or a flickering light on a porch is the universe's way of saying, I understand you. And when you listen with your heart, you'll realize that not only is everything reflecting your energy, but there's another soul, very close, vibrating in the same rhythm, like two notes on the same endless symphony. A silent, powerful connection, slowly awakening within the stillness. Somewhere along the thread of time, a gaze still lingers on you. Not a gaze of judgment nor curiosity, but the look of a soul that never got the chance to say goodbye. The tarot reveals that this energy is close enough for you to feel it, even if you can't see it. Maybe it's just beyond the wall, or beyond the memory, someone still watching you, not with their eyes, but with a heart heavy with unspoken words. They're not trying to find you through action, but through presence. They might be living their own life, yet sometimes when a soft breeze brushes their shoulder, or an old song starts playing out of nowhere, their mind drifts back to you. Not because they want to hold on, but because something between your souls was never fully closed. Perhaps it's an apology never spoken. Perhaps it's a touch that never happened. Or maybe simply a gratitude that never found its way out. In the stillness of night, you might feel a cool air moving across your skin, or a sadness with no clear name. You think it's your own emotion, but it might be their echo, a gentle wave of energy touching you, then fading away. Between you, there's still a door left slightly open where old feelings drift through like quiet wind, slipping into the empty spaces of your heart. That invisible thread, the tarot calls it a spiritual bond. You can't see it, can't touch it, but you can feel it. It's an energy that ignores space and time. Even if the two souls have gone their separate ways, they still meet in the deeper layers where memory becomes light and love no longer needs words. Sometimes that silent watching isn't to hold on, but to learn how to let go. When someone looks at you from afar, they're also learning to forgive themselves. And when you sense them, you too are healing the part of yourself that still remains in that story. This is the moment when love transcends form, when two souls grow together, even if they no longer walk the same path. If one night you look up and see a star shining brighter than usual, know that somewhere, that person might be looking at the same sky. And in that moment, nothing is said, yet everything is understood. Aries, this connection isn't meant to trouble you. It's part of your awakening, a gentle reminder that even in silence, love still exists. And sometimes, a single glance from afar can soothe an entire soul. If you've ever felt that someone is still watching over you, don't be afraid. See it as a sign that you once loved deeply, that you once left light in someone's life, and that light, now, is returning to complete its cycle so both souls can finally be free. In that stillness, when you close your eyes, you might hear your own voice echo back, calm, peaceful, like water after the rain. Because when your light expands, it doesn't just attract love, it awakens everything unspoken in others. And from that place, a new story begins, one where your light continues to spread, where you finally understand that you were born to shine not for anyone else, but for the path that is yours alone. On the days when your energy feels lighter, brighter, and something inside you seems to bloom, pay attention. The world begins to look at you differently. There are eyes that watch from afar, not out of curiosity, but because they can feel that light. Your glow reminds them of something within themselves, a dream long asleep, or a version of who they once were, brave and alive, now buried under time. But there are other eyes too heavier, quieter, not out of malice, but because within them live wounds still unhealed. When you shine, your light touches the shadows they've tried so hard to hide. And so they pull back, or they reflect that energy right back at you, leaving you tired, drained, not knowing why. The tarot calls this the energy of eyes, something no one can see, yet it reaches deeper than any word. You cannot avoid being seen. Light was born to be seen, but you can learn to stand firm, to protect your sacred space. Because love doesn't mean leaving your heart wide open for every wind to pass through. Keep a space of peace within you. Maybe it's the quiet morning when you sit with your tea, breathing and remembering that you are safe. Maybe it's the evening when you light a white candle, open a window, and let the air carry away the weight of the day. Maybe it's the soft whisper of gratitude, not directed to anyone in particular, just a gentle acknowledgement that you are still protected. Aries, your energy is so strong it can move the very air around you. But with that strength, you also need stillness, like a lantern in the night, steady and calm. Not every light that approaches is meant to walk beside you. Some come only to test whether your flame can stay true in its own glow. The world has many layers of energy. Some are light as a breeze across the skin, others deep as rivers flowing beneath the ground. As you awaken, you begin to feel them, all the beautiful, and the ones ready to be released. But don't be afraid. Awareness doesn't mean carrying the weight of it all. It means knowing and breathing and letting it pass through without leaving a trace on your heart. Think back, when was the last time you felt drained for no reason? Maybe you were in a crowd or sitting beside someone whose heart was heavy. You walked away carrying emotions that weren't yours. By nightfall, you felt empty and couldn't explain why. That's the moment you absorbed someone else's energy without realizing it. When that happens, come back to your breath. Place your hand on your heart, close your eyes and whisper softly, "I release everything that does not belong to me," with gratitude and light. That single sentence is enough to bring your energy home, pure, strong, and free again. Don't fear the eyes upon you. Even within them lies a reflection of you. They see you, but they're also seeing themselves, the part they desire, the part they've lost, the part they've yet to be brave enough to live. Let your compassion be greater than your fear. And in that quiet breath, you'll feel something sacred. Even the silent eyes are watched over by an unseen hand. The divine light never leaves you. Sometimes you're just too busy to notice. Now, as the space around you softens and your heart grows still enough to listen, you'll begin to sense it, a small shift, a subtle signal, as if the veil between the visible and invisible worlds is growing thinner. And from that gentle light, something long hidden is ready to be revealed. One day, when you're caught in the rhythm of your usual life, something might suddenly collapse. A relationship you thought would last forever, a belief you once built your world upon, or simply a quiet realization that life no longer works the way it used to. That's when the tower appears. It doesn't ask for permission, and it never warns. It comes to dismantle what's old, what's false, what's been holding you in place for too long. The tower doesn't come to punish you, it comes to set you free. It's the sound of illusions breaking, the crash that pulls you out of what was never real. The tarot teaches us, some foundations seem strong, but they were built on fear, denial, or unhealed pain. And when your energy grows beyond them, they crumble because they must. The universe shakes the ground only when it's time for you to see the truth. Think back to the last time your world fell apart, a heartbreak, a loss, a shock that left you breathless. It felt cruel then, didn't it? But if you look back now, through the light of who you've become, you'll see it differently. That collapse was your initiation. It taught you how to stand on your own feet, no longer clinging, no longer pretending, only truth remained. And truth, no matter how raw, is the most solid ground for freedom. The tower is a lesson in courage, because to be reborn, you must be willing to break. You must let the old fall away even when your heart still wants to hold on. It reminds you, no one can walk into the future with their hands full of the past. And then, when you think everything has turned to ashes, the sun rises. Its light isn't blinding, it's warm, forgiving. It shines on every broken piece of you, and suddenly you see they glimmer. Each shard tells a story, each scar holds a message. Nothing was wasted, no pain was ever meaningless. The sun doesn't just bring clarity, it brings life. It dries the tears. It brings back the smile you forgot how to wear. It reminds you, what was destroyed wasn't your life, it was the wall keeping you from living it. So, Aries, stand in the rubble and don't feel ashamed. Take a deep breath, look around and whisper to yourself, I'm still here. Because only when you face the emptiness can the light enter. The sun doesn't rise for those who keep their hearts closed. Trust this: when everything falls apart, nothing real is ever lost. Only what was false dissolves. The universe never takes what your soul still needs. It only removes what has expired, to return to you the space to live, to breathe, to love for real. If there's a truth that once broke you but later set you free, hold it close. That's the miracle of light. Freedom doesn't come when life is perfect, but when you dare to look at what isn't and smile anyway. In the storm of the tower, don't try to hold everything up, let it fall. Because right in that breaking, you'll hear the sound of your soul, soft but steady. And when the dust clears and the first rays of sunlight touch your skin, you'll realize what shattered wasn't your life. It was the shell that kept you from being fully alive. And like every storm, after destruction comes stillness. That stillness isn't the end, it's fertile ground, a place where new life quietly begins to bloom. And in that gentle warmth of returning light, you finally understand. You no longer fear loss because at last you have found yourself. In tarot, the death card often frightens people, but those who've walked the path of awakening know death doesn't speak of endings, it speaks of transformation. It's the moment you realize that to step into a new season, you must allow the old leaves to fall no matter how green they once were, no matter how deeply you love them. The death of the soul makes no sound. It arrives like a gentle wind, carrying away what no longer lives within you, a habit, a relationship, a fear, or a story you've already finished reading, yet still try to hold on to. We often think letting go requires courage, but in truth, it's an act of love and faith. Faith that whatever leaves is clearing the path for what truly belongs to you. Maybe you've stood before a door, knowing what lies behind it is the past, and yet you didn't have the strength to close it. You waited, quietly, hoping for a knock, a sign that what was lost might return. But Aries, not every door that opens again leads you where you belong. Some doors are meant to be closed with gratitude so your energy can stop circling inside the loop of pain. When you release what no longer serves your spirit, you grant yourself permission to be reborn. And that's when judgment appears. It isn't the universe's verdict, it's a sacred calling. It asks, now that you see, now that you understand, what will you do? Will you keep standing by the window, waiting for what has faded to come back, or will you step through a new doorway where the light has been waiting for you all along? Judgment is the moment of awakening when your soul calls you home, not to repeat, but to choose differently. We were not born to carry burdens forever. We were born to face them, thank them, and let them drift away like fallen petals floating down a stream. When you dare to let the old go, your energy begins to shift. Everything feels lighter. Memories lose their weight. Pain loses its sharpness. You don't forget, but you no longer hurt from remembering. You look back and feel only gratitude for every moment that shaped you, every loss that taught you love, and every ending that taught you strength. Aries, if you could release something today, a person, a pain, a memory, what would it be? Close your eyes and imagine placing it in the palm of your hand. Take a deep breath and let it go. No words needed, no tears required. Just know that as you release it, the universe opens its arms to receive it. Death doesn't steal, it returns. It brings you back to where you truly belong, to the place where you're light enough to rise, strong enough to move forward. And as your soul begins to leave the shadow behind, you'll see it, a small flame rising from the ashes. That's the light of rebirth, the gentle reminder that you were never truly lost. Because when you truly let go, energy begins to change direction. And in the silence of dawn, when the first rays of sunlight spill through the window, you'll realize the only thing that ever really died was the fear of living truthfully with your whole heart. When the storm has passed, what remains is not the trace of thunder, but the scent of wet earth after rain, the fragrance of life returning. Everything around you slows down, softer, warmer. You begin to realize that after every upheaval, something inside you has been washed clean, searching for peace once again. The Temperance card appears like a gentle hand resting on your shoulder. It doesn't speak loudly, it simply pours two streams of water, past and future, into one clear river of balance. The past is no longer a place to return to. It becomes a cool current nourishing your present. And the future, no longer a fear, turns into a seed quietly growing within you, watered by faith. This is the moment of reconciliation, not just with others, but with yourself. It's the moment you sit down, exhale slowly, and forgive the parts of your heart that once hurt you. Forgiveness doesn't mean someone deserves it. It means you deserve peace. When you forgive, you don't erase the memory. You release the energy that's been trapped inside it. Aries, you are strong, but true strength is not in resisting the storm. It's in letting the storm pass without losing your kindness. Maybe you've felt broken before, but look closer through those cracks. The light is seeping in. And then, when the star appears, that light becomes clear. It doesn't blind, it soothes, like moonlight gliding across the surface of a lake. It sparkles, but it's quiet. It's the energy of hope, of rebirth after a long journey. The card whispers that you are being guided not only by unseen forces, but by your own soul, now wiser and more awake than ever. Imagine standing beneath a silent sky, filled with stars. You hear nothing but the wind, yet somewhere deep within, you feel a rhythm, the rhythm of life returning. Old worries fall away like fine dust. Your heart becomes clear again, open, but no longer wounded. This is the time to learn how to trust again, to trust yourself, to trust life. To trust that every storm, every loss, every tear was leading you to maturity. Every pain, if you dare to face it, becomes a doorway to higher awareness. And sometimes, you don't even need to try to heal, because life has been healing you quietly through each breath, each sunrise, each moment you choose kindness over bitterness. If you've ever had a moment where you knew you were truly healed, it probably wasn't when the tears stopped, but when you could smile at everything that once hurt, grateful for having lived it. That smile is the sign that you've made it through the storm and are now standing in your own light. And in the gentle glow of the star, you begin to see the world differently. The houses, the laughter, the distant sounds of ordinary life. Everything feels in tune with your heart. Because sometimes, what you sense in the house next door is only the echo of your own soul learning to rebuild its inner home with bricks of understanding and a roof of compassion. Once again, you've come home to yourself not as who you were, but as someone brighter, calmer, freer. And in that stillness, the light begins to rise again, ready to carry you into the next chapter, where peace is no longer something you chase, but something that naturally flows from within. When the journey comes to a close, you'll see that everything that once confused you had its purpose. Every person who crossed your path, every house that caught your attention, every passing breeze, they were all fragments of a mirror, reflecting your soul through each stage of growth. No one arrived without meaning. Nothing happened merely to hurt you. They were the quiet teachers of your spirit, guiding you back to the light you once forgot you carried. This is the moment of gratitude, not just for what was beautiful, but for the days you felt lost, because it was through them that you found your way home. Now, you no longer need to search outward. Peace isn't in the house next door, it lives in your breath, in the way you see the world with an open heart. When you feel gratitude, the energy around you begins to heal. Old vibrations dissolve, and the space around you brightens soft as morning light, clear as a distant bell. You understand that peace isn't a reward, it's the true nature of your soul when it returns to itself. Thank you for listening, for allowing your heart to open, and for walking this path with sincerity. May your home always be filled with light, and your soul wrapped in sacred peace. From this moment on, whatever draws near to you can only come to bring light and love.